One Piece chapter 1003 scanlations are out. So if you haven't had a chance to go read the chapters, I would strongly urge to go read them first before you continue with the video. Now, if you have had a chance to read the chapter, you know that it is an again action-packed chapter. We have a lot of information in this chapter and we have so much progress. So we'll talk about it step by step, starting with Kaido versus Luffy. Now, of all the supernovas, the one who is constantly impressing us and constantly, being on the game is, of course, Luffy. Ever since chapter 1000, he's been putting in work, he's been damaging Kaido, he's been doing so much work. But then, by the end of this chapter, not even the end, by the beginning couple of pages of this chapter, Luffy is already out of Gear 4. And this is something that I immensely commend Oda, because a lot of people were under the impression that 2 weeks of training, Rio training with Hio, was enough for Luffy to, become a Yonko level. Just a few weeks ago, he was one shot by Kaido in Gear 4. And just 2 weeks of training really shouldn't be enough for him to beat Kaido 1v1 or even do too much. So, Gear 4 running out and Luffy practically losing to Kaido already shows that he has a long way to go before he can actually come 1v1 with a Yonko. And that's good because that shows that Oda respects rationality. He wants to do this properly and he wants to do Luffy right. Because otherwise, a lot of people already had problems with how fast Luffy was growing. He's 19 years old and he's already too fast and too strong. So 2 weeks of training shouldn't be bridging the gap between him and Kaido. And this is done really, really well in this chapter because Luffy losing Gear 4 practically making him completely useless. He can't even run away. Even in Karakuri's situation, he was able to conserve a little bit of stamina. He knew that he's going to run out of Gear 4. He left Gear 4 voluntarily and then he ran away. But this time, he was so focused on Kaido that he didn't realize Gear 4 running out. He ran out of Gear 4 and he was completely useless. He was even almost eaten by Kaido. And Zoro had to save him multiple times from Kaido and Big Mom. So essentially, he did lose against Kaido. And his best effort, even with Rio training and everything, was not able to do much to Kaido. And this is consistent. This is Oda writing beautiful story. And I love it. And talking about Kaido and Luffy, Luffy actually does do a lot of damage to Kaido in his dragon form. Even Big Mom is shocked, Kid is shocked, and of course, after Luffy comes out of Gear 4, Kid is surprised that such a power has such a drawback. So it's not something you can abuse. It's not something that you're actually mastered. And for 10 minutes, Luffy is going to be unable to do anything. So he needs to be protected or he needs to run away. So that's when the rest of the Supernova step in. They are going to try and stall for time. They're going to try and defeat them if they can. And Zoro was clearly the MVP of this chapter. Luffy was an MVP for the first few pages, but then Zoro pretty much carried the rest of the chapter, if you ask me. He fought Kaido, he hurt Kaido, and got Kaido's recognition. He was able to create a tornado to counter Kaido. He even helped Luffy dodge Big Mom. And this is one of the important things here because Luffy was unable to move. And Big Mom came for the killing attack with her Napoleon. And this was something that I predicted in one of my prediction videos because it was a pattern with Big Mom. In chapter 1000, she was using fire. Chapter 1002, she was using lightning. So chapter 1003, she's using Napoleon. It was pretty consistent. And the interesting thing here is that I fully expected Zoro to actually clash with Big Mom. He has a sword, he has Enma, so I was hoping that he would finally, use his sword against Big Mom. So Big Mom is the only swordsman available right now, and Zoro being a swordsman would be nice if he could at least hold off for a little bit. And seeing that he didn't try to take her on, instead chose to dodge it, shows that he's still not on their level, which is obvious, of course, but he still didn't even want to try it. So there's something there that we can look into. Now moving on from that, Killer and Kid prepare to attack. Law teleports to Big Mom, and you can see how the size difference is. We keep forgetting that Big Mom is huge and Law is so tiny, and yet he attacks with counter shock. Seemingly it did some kind of damage, or Big Mom is screaming, but just a couple of panels later she's just fine. So in the end of the day, she's completely unscathed still. And it's nice to see the Supernova actually do pay attention to Big Mom, because like I said in my prediction videos, not anyone can just go up to Big Mom. Big Mom is flying on the clouds high above, and Killer cannot jump up there. Kid cannot go up there. Law can only teleport if he can. If he has to create a distraction to teleport to Big Mom. Luffy can fly up there thanks to Gear 4, but no one else is able to go there. That's the problem with Big Mom. And even if they tried to go there, Big Mom is surrounded by lightning, so you have to take her by surprise, which is what Law did this time. And he probably did a bit of damage. And then Kaido summons his tornado, the dragon twisters, to get rid of Kid and Killer, to brush them away. Apparently it did do some damage, and he used this dragon twister to separate Zoro and Luffy, and he almost ate Luffy. So that's kind of a really interesting situation there. Zoro gets enraged, he used the three sword style, and Kaido finally realizes that this is Odin's sword, and that's really impressive. And Zoro being able to counter Kaido's tornado, that was pretty impressive. That you cannot say that Zoro was not impressive, or you cannot keep saying that it's all because of Enma, because what he did was he created a dragon twister that countered Kaido's twister, and that's something that he did. It's not a sword. So Zoro again being the MVP of this chapter, amazing stuff, and he even pierced through Kaido's scales, which none of the Supernova have been able to do. They've been able to damage him from the inside. So Killer has been using sound waves to damage him. Law has been using, what was that, Gamma Knife to damage him on the inside. Luffy is using advanced Haki to damage him from the inside. But Zoro is the only one who actually managed to cut Kaido from the outside. So this is pretty interesting stuff, and of course Zoro is getting recognition from all of them. Great stuff. And Kaido moves on to use his Gale of Destruction attack, which is again sending blades of wind all over the place. Kid gets cut, not him, it's his robot gets cut. Luffy is taken by Zoro, he's escaping. Kid and Law, they're dodging, Killer is dodging, all that good stuff. And then we move on to what's happening underground, or under the roof. Now this was something that in my predictions I said that we won't be seeing it for a while, because apparently Oda was focusing more on the top, and I'm so glad that they're focusing a little bit. At least we get to see a few panels of what's happening under the roof, and it starts off with Orochi's head. Now because they keep showing Orochi's head, and this is Oda, he usually doesn't show these things. Even when Odin died, they basically made him into a silhouette and it was blackened out. So I'm pretty sure that Orochi isn't dead. He's going to come back at some point, but be that as it may, we have CP0 discussing the situation in Onigashima. So they realize that Kaido versus the Supernova is an inevitable fight because Dofi went down. They are playing their whole game of shogi, and they're discussing about the odds of the situation. And they don't believe that two Yonko will be going down. They've considered it impossible. And even if the Yonko did go down, the executives are still there. They have to be dealt with. The executives meaning the Tobiropo, we have King, Queen, Jack, all of these people, they're still there. They're still running the show, so they need to be taken out. And it doesn't seem as though CP0 is aware of the powerhouses that's there in Onigashima right now. I don't think they realize that Marco is here, Jinbei is here. These guys can easily tip the scales against the executives, which they are doing, by the way, in the later part of the chapter. We see Sasaki versus Frankie. They seem to be doing pretty fine. None of them seem to be that gravely injured. We see Nami and Usopp. Usopp is coming back. He's sniping at something, and they're following Otama's lead. She's leading them somewhere. Ulti is chasing after them. Jinbei looks just fine. He's not at all hurt. And Yamato seems to be fighting someone else. The interesting thing here is that Sanji is just in one panel, and he already looks terrified. He is bloodied up, so his situation is very bad. And that kind of sucks because he's the only Straw Hat who looks really pathetic right now. And we know what's going on because it's Black Maria. He cannot fight her. He's trying to run away. This is really, really bad and embarrassing. I love Sanji. I want him to prove himself. I want him to outgrow this. And even though this is painful, I think this is for the best because he needs to outgrow this situation of his. He needs to be able to find a way to deal with women. And somehow he's going to get out of this, I'm pretty sure. We'll see cool moments from him pretty soon. Now, the interesting thing here is the numbers. When CP0 are talking, they talk about the numbers, and it seems that Kaido's army have suffered more than the Alliance. And if you think about it, most of it is because of Queen. He pretty much created this game of the Ice Oni, and he put his own crew under danger. So most of that comes from Queen's stupidity, and we'll have to see where that goes. And of course, CP0 being in this game right now gives a lot of questions and theories, because is CP0 going to get involved? Are the world government waiting to get involved after the pirates take each other out? What's going on here? Is the world government interested in taking over Wano? Because if you think about it, Wano is under no one's control. Wano's democracy or their leadership is pretty much done for once this war is over. If Momo is gone, or if Momo is not recognized, they are leaderless. And this is perfect opportunity for the world government to take over Wano and forcefully get all the weapons that they need, because Orochi made ridiculous demands with CP0 asking for Vegapunk. So this could be a blessing for them in disguise, because they want pirates to take each other out so they can come and swoop in and take everything else. There's also another reason why CP0 being here is a big deal, and that's because of Big Mom. Big Mom's connection to the CP0 is really weird. When she was a kid, of course, CP0 was the one who tried to buy her from Mother Carmel, and seeing as CP0 is an intelligence unit, they should be aware of all these things. They should be aware of Mother Carmel and all that stuff, and there is a possibility that they could influence Big Mom in the future. And CP0 being right here is probably leading to where I think it is, which we'll talk about that in a whole other video about Big Mom's future potential, what's going to happen to her. But this is something to keep in mind. And another thing also is that CP0 has Stussy. Stussy has been watching Big Mom. They have something in mind for Big Mom. They want to do something to her, or they've been planning something. They've been monitoring her for a long time. So it could be that they're under a kind of an operation, something's going on. We'll have to wait and see. Now, by the end of the chapter, of course, we are returning back to the fight in the roof. Kid, Luffy, Law, everyone is beaten up. They don't know what else they can do. They're struggling to keep up. And Kaido and Big Mom are just laughing and having fun. These guys are not even serious. They're not even, putting out any effort to beating this Supernova. They're taking it easy. They're having fun. Kaido transforms into his hybrid form, which is pretty much silhouetted out. We won't be seeing that probably for next chapter, or maybe even the chapter after that. But Big Mom is completely unhurt. She lost her grip on Napoleon, that's how it looks like, but Napoleon can always come back to her when she needs it, so that's fine. And Zeus, of course, looking menacing. Prometheus is with her. They're ready for a rumble. Luffy needs 10 minutes time to recover. And this battle, if the Yonko gets serious, won't even last for 10 minutes by the look of it. So we'll have to see how it goes. Who is going to come to help Luffy? How is Luffy going to buy the time? Who here is going to get defeated? And by the looks of things, we probably are going to see a huge run through for the Supernova. They're going to get obliterated in a couple of chapters, and I think that's where we'll be ending Wano Act 3. Anyway, this was a really hype chapter, and we can come up with a lot of interesting plots and theories from here. I'm looking forward to doing some of those later in the future. I hope to catch you then that time. If you've enjoyed this video, drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in another one. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.